This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good night, Kathleen Ronald. How are you doing on this wonderful, beautiful night?
You're so adorable. What time is it there where you are?
So it's 8:32 p.m.
Oh, not bad. Okay, it's 5:32 here in Los Angeles.
Oh, sweet. Well, yes, you are in my past and I am in your future. Things look great from here. Do tell us, which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this specific time in history?
I think it's my talent of being a phenomenal connector, because my friend Randy Pizer was on your show and she spoke very highly of you and sent off a link and connected me to you, and that's how I got to you. But I would say that that's one of my biggest talents, is I love making connections with people.
Well, I love that as well. Thank you so much, Randy, for connecting us. It was an amazing conversation with her as well. So who did you learn that from? I mean, is there someone in your family that is a connector as well?
Well, I was born in a show family. What does that mean? We're not a pack of dogs. I'm one of 6 siblings, but my parents were very active in the theater, and I remember growing up, and my dad ran a business, and the calendar would be marked off like 3 times a week at 4:30 in the morning, and that means those were the days that he'd have to get up at 4:30 in the morning and rehearse his lines for whatever play they were doing. And I always marveled, because they would rehearse and rehearse and rehearse, and then the plays would run for an entire month. And this was just a hobby. So they worked full time, they raised 6 kids, and then for fun, they spent their life, not their entire life, but many years rehearsing for different shows and variety shows and plays. And then they would run for 4 weeks, 4-week run on Friday, Saturday, and sometimes a matinee on Sunday. So, and then they were very gregarious. They were both Capricorns, and there was always an event or a party or a celebration or a house full of people. And my father raised us on somebody you love and adore, Zig Ziglar. He was one of my very first influencers in my life as far as motivation goes. So we were just raised in it.
Zig is amazing, isn't he? Like I hadn't listened to him for a while, and then I said, you know what? I'll make this a part of my children's morning rituals, just to have it playing, yeah. And I was like, so Zig is a comedian.
He's so fantastic. I had the honor. I was emceeing the Direct Sales Women's Alliance, and that is everybody who's in multi-level marketing, direct sales, like the Amways, the Mary Kays, the Avons, all those type of companies fall under this umbrella. And he lived in Dallas at the time when he was living. And so they honored him with the Lifetime Achievement Award. And he had been a part of my life. I mean, he was hanging up on my vision board, and one of my friends put my face as one of the speakers when he would do those big speaker rallies, and he autographed that, and I got to meet his beautiful bride, and then became friends with his daughter Julie. What a fascinating woman she is, and so it was a true honor to get to meet him and spend some time with him that entire day when he came in, and come on. It's just like being the grandfather of motivation, right? Yeah, so it's wonderful how those things happen in your life when you've envisioned them for so long. So that was a great treat.
So why will you continue to be this person? Definitely there are the challenges that come with being the goal setter and being the person who is speaking and on the road. Nevertheless, why will you continue to be that person, Kathleen?
Why do I continue to be the person in regards to the motivational side of it?
Well, I would say in terms of being that individual that's gregarious and that individual
I see.
Carries that
wow,
energy.
That's a really good question. I think because it you can't deny an inborn talent. And I love, love, love people. It's certainly not a job for most engineers or accountants. We all have our strengths, and my love of people and being able to engage them. I love to make them laugh as they learn. So I'm a comedian. I don't really talk about that until I hit the stage. It becomes obvious because I don't like people to expect me to be funny. But I just love people, and I love helping people. And people, I always say, are my medicine. If it wasn't for them, I could be depressed and binge watching Netflix countless hours in a day. And I'd always say, as long as I'm around people, I don't feel ever depressed. Ever, ever, ever. So if I'm having a blue day, all I have to do is get out of myself and go into the world.
That's awesome. So tell us about what you do professionally, please.
Well, I've been a professional speaker, trainer, business consultant for 25 years. And on the consulting side of the house, I'm what you might call a business growth architect. And I work with business owners to look at their business strategies and get their lives back. A lot of people come to me because they're working 12, 14 hours a day, 6, 7 days a week. And how can I re-architect that so that they can have more life, still making more money and working less hours? So that's my goal in the consulting side of the business. And then I spoke around the world. I do keynotes and trainings and sales conferences and offsites. And I'm going to work with the Monterey Convention Center in a couple of weeks, and I'll do a full day offsite for them, team building.
How does that make you feel? Like looking back from now to then, seeing all you've accomplished, like all the places you've been, how does it make you feel?
Well, really good. And I always feel like there's so much more to do. I feel like I'm just beginning, even at my age. I just love that I've gotten to see the world, all expenses paid. That's kind of fun.
That helps.
That's the fun side of it. And all the other sides, meeting the people and being able to share. My top topic is clutternomics, how to clear your way to profits, productivity, and peace. And I've been doing it now, many, many years, but I never tire of that topic.
Why would you suggest that someone that's listening, that they would do what you've done by really focusing in on your strengths and letting that help you help others?
Well, certainly, as you know, and my gosh, you're the master of learning and what you've done in your career to assess people's, you look at their beliefs and their values and their strengths. And sometimes clients come to me looking for what's next. And we do a life review of what they've done in the past. And we really focus on that 20% of what they love. Like, what did you love doing? Because I don't want any of my clients just to get a job to have a job. Sometimes that needs to happen. But I want them to understand and live their passion and purpose. Like, why are you sent here? What is that purpose? And do you love it? Be a garbage man, but if you're going to be one, love it. And so many people settle. I did a conference up in Oakland. It was for the YMCA, a financial conference. And most of the women were 18 to 30 years old. And I asked the question, I said, I'm curious, ladies, how many of you specifically are doing a job that your parents wanted you to do? And I would say 3/4 of the audience raised their hands. And that broke my heart, because many times what the parents want their children to do is not what the children's sole contract is. And one woman came up sobbing and said, my mom wants me to be an engineer, but I want to be a hairdresser. And I'm like, have your mom call me. Your well-meaning mother doesn't realize that, put to your passion, you're going to live longer and be happier and freer and give more joy, because that vibration, that is a must vibration in the world, because we're all vibrating. And if we don't love what we do, that vibration of love is 500 megahertz at the vibration of love. And if you walk into a job that you hate, that vibration is very, very low. I know shame is a vibration of 20. Guilt is a vibration of 30. And nobody should be vibrating at that vibration when they walk into a room. And so that's why it's so key and critical that people really stay in their heart's desire, in their lane. And because it's just better for the world and better for everyone involved when you show up in that vibration to your work, to your worship, if you will. Yeah.
To your work and your worship. So for someone that's listening who wants your experience, where's the best place for them to connect with you?
Well, they can find me on my website, www.speaktacular, that's SpeakTacular.com.
Love it.
Speaktacular.com.
All right. Well, Kathleen, let's switch gears for a moment. Let me now invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Kathleen, what's your earliest childhood memory?
You know, it's so funny. I was thinking, our Christmases were so ginormous in our house, yet I don't remember, except for putting the tin foil on the tree, the Christmases, and it was always a production. What I remember, gosh, my earliest childhood, I remember my boyfriend, Joseph Powers, in kindergarten. It was crazy. Kindergarten, first grade, second grade, and third grade, up until like mid-third grade, we moved back to Washington State. We were living in Arizona at the time. And we broke up because I wouldn't get off the bus to kiss him. And I can remember everything about Joseph and playing marbles and being the marble champion and kick the can and tetherball, going to Catholic school. But yeah, Joseph Powers in kindergarten is probably one of my first.
So why do you think this memory is so clear?
I don't know. You know, that's a good question. I'd have to think about that. I remember all my nuns too. Boy, if you're Catholic, if you run into any Catholics, I don't remember my lay teachers, but my nuns, I remember their names.
So Joseph Powers,
yes,
didn't continue the relationship because you didn't get off of the bus. Like, why didn't you get off of the bus?
Oh, can you imagine? I mean, you know, big talker, deflecting, comedy, right? You know, as we do as humans, it's so metaphoric, you know, as we present ourselves with power. And then when it comes to it, our bodies locked down in fear. And probably, I'm a recovering Catholic now, but at the time I probably thought I was going to go to hell if I kissed a boy. I mean, that could have been part of the issue.
That's super, that is great. So hey, can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind right there, just please. At that moment? I love the concept of the story you shared with the young lady that came sobbing, and I would run the metaphor just like that, where there's so many people that are on the bus and need to get off of the bus because the thing that they're connected to, their life purpose, the passion, is right there, right in that decision. And to see that you're helping people who intend or who want to get off of the bus and are fearful, understand the power in their decision, that right there is beautiful.
Wow, you're so good. That is beautiful. You know, I call myself a mind chiropractor, and I do it with myself and others, but it's just cracking the code to the underlying beliefs that are between you and what you want to do. It's that simple. You know, if you take the word can and you write that, and then write the word can't with the apostrophe. And I did a show a long time ago, and it just kind of came to me like an automatic, you know, dictation, if you will. It wasn't a thought process. I'd never considered it before. It just fell out of my mouth. But I look at that apostrophe and the word can't. And within that apostrophe is all your limiting beliefs. You know, because, you know, the famous, was it Henry Ford, you know, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
Exactly.
And I always say, be careful what you want to be right about. because you get to be right. And whatever that belief is, that core root belief will bring you every piece of evidence to show you that you're right about that belief. And so that apostrophe is the work that I do in my work. I'm just cracking the code to their mental belief systems and what are the limiting beliefs that prevent them from moving forward. And when you ask the question, I'm just curious, what prevents you from taking the next step, from moving forward, from taking the big leap, whatever way you want to frame it? And if you just let the person talk, they will give you the recipe of what's in their way. Point by point by point, they will begin to speak those beliefs, whether they be conscious or unconscious. And once they're out on the table, you can literally find them, finagle them, reduce them to the ridiculous, and unroot them from the conscious mind. Some are trickier than others. Some release a lot quicker than others. But that's it. If you can find that apostrophe, and those are the limiting beliefs, and release them, then you get back to the can.
Yeah, what is pretty cool as well is the play on words within the memory, like Joseph Powers. Like, he truly didn't have the power even to get you off of the bus. And with individuals, just like as you said, yeah.
Wow, yes.
Reside, the power is yours. That's wonderful.
That is beautiful. And he has it in his name. It's interesting. I met a famous artist in the Cape. I spent a month there last year, and her name is Karen North Wells, and she does handwriting analysis. And she said, write something, Kathleen. So I'm writing. And then she said, write, do your name. And a long time ago, because of autographs and things, I just went from writing my entire name, Kathleen Ronald, to I went into the bank and I changed it to a scribble, just a with a long line. And she looked at my current signature, which has this really long line that extends. And she said, oh, that tells me that you're very, very, very cautious at this time. And it made sense to what I was going through in my life, that I would step into being more cautious now than I was in the past. And she said, write out your full name. And I wrote out my full name. And she said, you must go back to writing out your full name. And I said, why? Well, everything is energy. Every letter in your word carries its energy. And also, your full name spells out the word healer. You can extract the word healer out of your name. So by doing your little scribble, your new signature, you are cutting off your ability to have that healing energy and the full expression of what your soul contract is. And she said, you must go back to writing your full name, Kathleen Ronald.
I love it. That is
Isn't
beautiful.
that something?
It is. I love it. Love it. All right, Kathleen.
I love you. And I know we only have 12 minutes and we're probably running over.
Well, sometimes conversations are what they are. So let's not put a cap on it. But if we fast forward to when you were 12, what was your favorite song then?
You're so cute that you asked that. I have no idea. Like, how old was I when I was 12? I kind of referred back to my parents' music, the Kingston Trio and Barbra Streisand and, the Beach Boys. My father had a skateboard track, like, at a small Disney-esque kind of place in Arizona. And it was always the Beach Boys playing. So I don't know that I have a favorite song.
All right.
But...
Well, we have arrived at our destination. But before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready?
Okay.
Kathleen, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to? Hit me yes or no.
Yes.
Are you married?
I want to be.
Do you have children?
Yes.
Do you believe in God?
Yes.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
Yes, sadly.
What about screen time, the phone and the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Less than 8. Not much on the phone at all. And then just the screen because of work. I know. Yes or no. Sorry.
If you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents who you are, Kathleen the Healer Ronald, what would you say that is?
It's so funny. Before short-term memory, I could answer that in a minute. I said, I have a really good quote, but I can't remember what it is right now. That kind of is not that fun. I always say, keep your words sweet. You may have to eat them.
I love that.
And the other one is live it, love it, laugh, or do something different.
There we go. Well, Kathleen, this has been such a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Whatever you focus on, expand. So when you're having a crappy day, start focusing on what you're grateful for, and it will turn on a dime. Change your focus, change your future.
Love it. Hey, Kathleen, again, this was such a great pleasure, a pleasure I treasure. Thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you. Thank you. God bless you.
God bless you too.
This segment has been brought to you by Amazon Enterprise.